This video is about Athena solves puzzles in the ancient temple until traps activate. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. In the ancient world, where the whispers of gods intertwined with the lives of mortals, there lay a sacred temple dedicated to Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare. Nestled among the peaks of Mount Parnassus, the temple stood as a beacon of enlightenment, its marble fog gleaming under the sun's golden rays. The air crackled with the promise of the divine, as if the very stones were imbued with the essence of Athena herself. Legend spoke of an artifact hidden deep within the temple, a relic of unimaginable power known as the Eye of Insight. This artifact was said to grant its wielder the wisdom to unravel any mystery and the courage to face any foe. Many had sought it, but none had succeeded. The temple was a labyrinth of ancient puzzles, deadly traps, and enchanted guardians, all devised by Athena to test the worthy. On a fateful day, a mortal hero named Theros, known for his unmatched intellect and valiant heart, approached the temple's entrance. He was driven by a destiny foretold, a vision that beckoned him to seek the eye and secure it from the clutches of those who would misuse it. With a heart full of honor and a mind sharpened by trials, Theros stepped into the shadowy embrace of the temple. As he crossed the threshold, the air thickened with tension and silence enveloped him like a shroud. The walls adorned with intricate carvings appeared to dance in the flickering torchlight, depicting scenes of Athena guiding heroes and battling monstrous foes. Theros felt a surge of reverence and trepidation. He whispered a prayer to the goddess, seeking her favor. "Great Athena, grant me the wisdom to navigate your trials," he implored, his voice echoing into the depths of the temple. Deeper he ventured, stepping cautiously over ancient stone, each footfall resonating like a heartbeat in the stillness. The first challenge presented itself, a massive door inscribed with cryptic symbols and guarded by a statue of Athena, her eyes glimmering with an otherworldly light. Theros studied the symbols, the intricate patterns revealing a riddle woven into their design. In the heart of wisdom lies a choice: speak the truth, and you shall rejoice. The air seemed to pulse with energy as Theros pondered the riddle, memories of his past igniting his thoughts. The truth, he realized, was not merely a word but a profound understanding of oneself. He stepped forward, feeling the weight of his dreams and failures, and declared, "I choose courage over fear." With those words, the door rumbled and groaned as it slowly opened, unveiling a vast chamber filled with light. Inside, the floor was a mosaic of shimmering tiles, each depicting the journeys of warriors past. In the center lay a pedestal cradling a delicate orb, pulsating with an ethereal glow, the Eye of Insight. But as Theros approached, the ground trembled, and the very walls of the temple shifted. Traps long dormant began to awaken, their mechanisms whirring with the sound of impending doom. The once serene chamber transformed into a perilous battleground. A series of spinning blades emerged from the walls, slicing through the air with lethal precision. "By the gods!" Theros shouted, adrenaline surging through his veins. He dove to the side, narrowly avoiding the razors that sought to claim him. The stakes had risen, and the temple was now a living entity intent on protecting its secrets. With agility born from desperation, Theros rolled and ducked, navigating through the storm of steel. He could feel the pulse of Athena's presence around him, guiding his movements with uncanny clarity. Yet, he knew he could not linger. The eye called to him, his song echoing in his heart. He darted towards the pedestal, dodging another wave of blades. At that moment, the ground beneath him cracked open, revealing a chasm of darkness. From it emerged a creature, a guardian of the temple, a gorgon, scales glistening like night, eyes glowing with malevolence. With serpentine locks writhing, the gorgon hissed, its fangs bared. "Foolish mortal, none shall take the eye," it snarled, lunging toward Theros with deadly intent. "Then let it be a trial of strength and wits, beast." Theros declared, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. Thrusting his shield forward, he caught the gorgon's swift bite, the force of impact rattling him to the core. But he was prepared, remembering the tales of ancient warriors who had defeated such monstrosities. Theros sidestepped and struck, aiming for the beast's vulnerable underbelly, but the gorgon recoiled, its scales impenetrable. In that moment of desperation, he recalled the wisdom of Athena: to outsmart your foe is to embrace the mind as your greatest weapon. Drawing upon this, Theros feigned an attack, drawing the gorgon's focus. As it lunged, he rolled beneath it and aimed for its tail, striking with all his might. The gorgon shrieked in pain, disoriented. Seizing the opportunity, Theros darted towards the pedestal. He reached the Eye of Insight, grasping it in his hands. The moment his fingers touched the smooth surface, a blinding light enveloped him. Visions of the past, present, and potential futures flooded his mind, filling him with euphoria and clarity. But the gorgon had regained its composure. With a furious roar, it turned, eyes fixed upon Theros, now brimming with anger. The trap mechanisms continued to activate, the chamber becoming a chaotic symphony of danger. Theros felt the weight of destiny heavy on his shoulders. He had to escape. "Wisdom and courage shall be my allies," he shouted, channeling the energy of the eye. In that instant, time seemed to slow. The blades paused mid-swing, the Gorgon hesitated, and the air thickened with possibility. With newfound clarity, Theros formulated a plan. He dashed towards the walls, using the momentum of the Gorgon as fury against it. The creature lunged, its fangs snapping dangerously close as Theros leaped to the side, leading it towards the spinning blades. The Gorgon collided with the trap, its scales failing to protect it from the relentless steel. A shriek echoed through the chamber, drowning in the cacophony of chaos. Theros felt a rush of triumph as the beast staggered back, weakened but not defeated. Yet the temple was relentless. The floor beneath him began to crumble, and the stone walls closed in, threatening to trap him forever. Theros had to act swiftly. He called upon the IAS power, focusing on the knowledge it had bestowed upon him. In a surge of instinct, he found a hidden passage behind the pedestal, illuminated by the IS glow. With the Gorgon recovering and the traps still active, he sprinted towards the passage, heart racing, fear and determination propelling him forward. Just as the Gorgon turned to strike again, Theros dove through the opening, feeling the breath of the beast just inches from his back. He tumbled into the narrow corridor, breathless and disoriented. The passage spiraled downward, lined with glowing symbols that seemed to pulse with every heartbeat. Theros realized he had merely scratched the surface of Athena's design. The true test had only just begun. As he caught his breath, the echo of the Gorgon's fury faded behind him, replaced by the sound of rushing water, a river of dreams, whispers of those who saw wisdom before him. With the eye of insight in hand and the challenges that lay ahead, Theros knew he was not merely a mortal hero, he was an extension of Athena's will, bound by fate to fulfill a destiny greater than himself. "Let the trials come," he murmured, determination infusing his voice. "For I am Theros, and I shall conquer the darkness." Little did he know, the temple had deeper secrets, and the trials were just the beginning of a journey fraught with betrayal, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of honor. As the shadows closed around him, the prophecy unfolded, shaping him into the hero he was destined to become, where wisdom and valor would be tested against the eternal forces of fate. As the echoes of the past faded into silence, Theros took a step forward, ready to face whatever awaited him in the depths of Athena's ancient temple. Emerging from the narrow corridor, Theros found himself in a vast subterranean chamber, illuminated by bioluminescent fungi that clung to the walls like the eyes of hidden watchers. The air was thick with moisture, and the scent of earth and decay lingered like a whisper of forgotten lore. The sound of water cascading in the distance filled the space with a symphony of tranquility, contrasting sharply with the chaos he had just escaped. Yet, amid the beauty, an unsettling stillness enveloped him. Theros knew better than to let his guard down. The eye of insight pulsed warmly against his chest, a constant reminder of his purpose. He needed to find a way to navigate through this new realm, one that undoubtedly held its own dangers and challenges. Suddenly, the water-esque murmur transformed into a roaring cascade, and from the depths a creature emerged, a magnificent but terrifying hydra, its multiple heads weaving like dark serpents unfurling from a nightmare. Each head hissed and snapped, venomous fangs glistening under the glows, hungry for fresh flesh. "Foolish mortal," the hydra growled, its voices melding into a haunting cacophony. "You seek wisdom here. This temple hungers for sacrifices, and you are but a morsel." Theros gripped the eye tightly, summoning the courage that had propelled him this far. "I am no mere morsel, beast. I am Theros, chosen of Athena. You will not claim me so easily." With that declaration, he leaped to the side as the hydra lunged, its jaws closing where he had stood just an instant before. The ground shook as the creature's weight crashed against the stone. Theros quickly assessed the surroundings, feeling the pulse of the eye guiding his thoughts. "Each head is a separate challenge," he muttered to himself, recalling ancient tales of heroes who had faced this monster before. But like the trials of wisdom, they can be outsmarted. The hydra's head snapped toward him, eyes narrowing with malicious intent. "You think the power of Athena can protect you? You will soon learn the pain of failure." As he dodged another strike, Theros noticed the way the creature moved. Its individual heads were independent but followed a synchronized rhythm. Timing his movements, he darted forward, aiming for the center mass where the next joined. "Come, beast, taste the steel of my blade," he shouted, charging bravely as the hydra's head snapped at him. Just as he reached the neck closest to him, he struck with precision, cutting through flesh and sinew. One head fell away, splashing into the water below. A thunderous roar erupted from the Hydra, and the remaining heads writhed with fury. "You will pay for that. For every head you take, two shall grow in its place." Thoros felt a surge of dread, but steeled himself. Then let it be a battle of wits and will. He had to act fast. The water's edge was close, and he recalled the trickery of Athena. "If you cannot fight me with wisdom, you shall fight against the very waters you call home." With a swift movement, he feigned retreat, drawing the Hydra's fury toward him. As the creature lunged, Thoros dove to the side, leading it toward the riverbank. The powerful force of the Hydra crashed against the edge, sending waves rippling through the water. "Now!" Thoros shouted, feeling the ice energy coursing through him. He focused his mind, channeling the wisdom he had gained. The Hydra's heads, confused by his sudden movement, struggled to regain their balance. He seized the moment, gripping his sword tightly. "By the will of Athena, I command you." Thoros plunged his blade into the water, channeling the energy of the eye. The river responded, water swelling in a vortex that ensnared the Hydra's thrashing heads, drawing them into the depths. "Fool, you cannot trap me," the Hydra roared, but Thoros' will was resolute. The water surged higher, creating a maelstrom that enveloped the creature. With each passing moment, the beast struggled, its cries weakening as it was pulled into the abyss. "Let the currents of wisdom carry you away," Thoros proclaimed, his voice rising above the chaos. The water roared in agreement, and with a final, resounding crash, the Hydra was consumed, its monstrous form dragged into the depths, never to return. Breathless, Thoros stood at the riverbank, heart racing. "I will not be a mere sacrifice. I shall rise, as Athena's chosen, to face whatever lies ahead." The water shimmered in acknowledgement, a silent promise of protection from the goddess. As he ventured deeper into the chamber, the walls began to illuminate further, revealing runes etched in stone, ancient verses that spoke of trials yet to come. Each step resonated with the weight of destiny, urging him onward. The eye of insight pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat, revealing secrets hidden within the temple's design. Suddenly, the ground trembled again, and statues lining the chamber came to life, their stone faces contorting with ancient rage. "Intruder," they thundered in unison. "You trespass upon sacred ground. Your journey ends here." Thoros tightened his grip on the eye, its light illuminating the darkness. "I will not yield. I seek wisdom, and I will prevail." He charged toward the nearest statue, its stone fist swinging down with blinding speed. With agility and determination, Thoros dodged to the side, rolling beneath the statue's swing. He spun to his feet and struck with precision, his sword biting into the stone, sending fragments flying. "You were once guardians, now you are mere obstacles." The other statues responded, their movements synchronized. Thoros found himself amidst a whirlwind of stone and steel, narrowly avoiding their lethal strikes. He recalled Athena's teachings intellect could turn the tide when brute force faltered. Suddenly, he spotted a glimmer above a large stone block precariously positioned on a ledge. "If I can knock that down," he whispered. Timing his movements, he darted past the encroaching fists of the statues, leaping onto a lower ledge. With all his might, Thoros hurled a rock toward the block, striking it just right. The stone tumbled down, crashing into the statues below. As it shattered the first statue into pieces, a shockwave reverberated through the chamber, causing the others to falter momentarily. "Map!" Thoros shouted, seizing the opportunity. He lunged toward the remaining statues, striking with precision and fury, using the chaos to his advantage. Each blow echoed with the weight of his journey, the trials he had already overcome fueling his resolve. With the last statue crumbling into dust, Thoros breathed heavily, the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "I move forward with honor and courage," he declared into the stillness, feeling the eye's energy surge in affirmation. As the dust settled, a hidden door revealed itself at the far end of the chamber. Intricate carvings of heroes and gods adorned the entrance, telling tales of triumph and sacrifice. Thoros approached, heart pounding with anticipation. "Beyond lies the final trial," he whispered, steeling himself. The eye of insight glowed brighter, illuminating the symbols, unlocking the knowledge of those who had come before him. He placed his hand upon the door, feeling warmth radiate from the ancient stone. "May the wisdom of Athena guide me forward," he prayed. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit corridor, thick with shadows and the promise of the unknown. As he ventured onward, he felt the weight of destiny and the eyes of the gods upon him, urging him to fulfill his purpose. With each step, Thoros embraced the legacy of honor and wisdom. He was not merely a seeker of knowledge, but a beacon of hope for those who had fallen before him. The trials of the temple were far from over, but he would endure, forging his path through destiny's ever-twisting corridors. Little did he know, the heart of the temple held secrets that could change the fates of gods and mortals alike, a truth that would test not just his strength, but the very essence of his being. The true adventure had only just begun, and the shadows awaited his next move. As Thoros stepped into the dimly lit corridor, the air thickened with an ominous presence. The eye of insight pulsed softly against his chest, guiding him forward as if attuned to the very heartbeat of the temple. Shadows danced along the stone walls, twisting and writhing like phantoms of those who had traversed this path before him. "I am not afraid," he whispered, pushing back the encroaching dread. This was no mere passage, it was an embodiment of destiny, a crucible where the essence of his being would be tested. The corridor widened, revealing a vast chamber illuminated by an ethereal glow. In its center stood an altar carved from obsidian, adorned with golden inscriptions that shimmered like stars in a midnight sky. Above, a colossal mural depicted the gods of Olympus engaged in fierce battles against titanic monsters, a testament to their unyielding will and valor. But Thoros sensed a disturbance. The air crackled with tension, a warning that something ancient and powerful awaited him. He approached the altar, heart pounding in rhythm with the IS pulse. The inscriptions spoke of a final trial, the most daunting of all. "There is wisdom in sacrifice," he murmured, recalling the words etched upon the stone. "But at what cost?" Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath him, and a booming voice echoed through the chamber. "Who dares disturb the sanctity of Olympus?" From the mural, a figure emerged, Ares, the god of war, clad in gleaming armor and radiating an aura of fury. His piercing eyes glinted with ferocity of countless battles, and his voice held the weight of divine authority. "It is I, Thoros, chosen of Athena. I seek the eye of insight to protect the realm from those who would misuse its power." Ares laughed, a sound that resonated like thunder through the chamber. "You think your intentions matter. Wisdom and courage mean nothing in the face of the gods. Only strength prevails." With a swift motion, Ares summoned his spear, the air splitting with its speed as he held it toward Thoros. Time slowed as the spear pierced the air, a harbinger of doom. Thoros, fueled by his bond with Athena, reacted instinctively. He dodged to the side, the spear grazing his shoulder, sending a jolt of pain through him. "Is this how the gods test their chosen?" he shouted, pain igniting a fire within him. "You would have me die without purpose?" Ares stepped forward, the ground trembling with each stride. "Your life is a mere ripple in the ocean of time. Mortal, prove your worth, or perish." Fury surged within Thoros, igniting a blaze of defiance. "Then let us see if a mortal can outsmart a god." Channeling the IS energy, he focused on Ares' movements, anticipating the next strike. With a burst of speed, he lunged toward the altar, using it as a shield against the next attack. Ares thrust his spear again, but Thoros sidestepped and struck the altar, his sword clashing against the obsidian surface. "Every challenge is a riddle, every strike can be countered," he yelled, deflecting a blow that shattered a nearby column into dust. Ares roared with anger, his divine power surging as he conjured a storm of lightning. "You think yourself clever? Know this, even the wisest can be crushed beneath the weight of a goddess' wrath." The chamber erupted with blinding light as lightning coursed through the air, arcs of electricity crackling dangerously close to Thoros. He dove behind the altar, feeling the surge of energy roar above him. The very foundations of the temple shook, and he could hear the echoes of ancient warriors urging him on. "Honor demands I stand tall," Thoros shouted, rising from his cover. He charged at Ares, dodging another burst of lightning, his heart pounding with purpose. "This battle is mine to win." Ares met his charge with a fierce clash of their weapons. The air was thick with the sound of metal on metal, each impact sending shockwaves through Thoros' body. He could feel the weight of the gods' judgment bearing down on him, but in that moment, he was not merely Thoros, he was the embodiment of all who had fought for truth and valor. "Your strength is nothing without wisdom," he roared, pushing Ares back with a powerful strike. "Even gods must answer for their actions." With each blow, Thoros remembered Athena's teachings. Intellect was the key to triumph. He feinted left, catching Ares off guard, and swung low, targeting the goddess' legs. Ares stumbled but quickly regained his footing, unleashing a devastating wave of energy that sent Thoros crashing backward. "Foolish mortal, you cannot hope to match divine might," Ares bellowed, his spear glowing ominously. Thoros felt the pulse of the eye strengthening, the visions of his friends, family, and countless heroes flashing before him. "I am not afraid, Ares, I will fight for those who cannot." Drawing upon the IS power, he summoned the wisdom of those who had come before him. The chamber lit up with energy, ancient symbols radiating from his hands. "Let the wisdom of Athena guide my actions." In that instant, he redirected Ares' energy back toward him, forming a shield of light that absorbed the god's attack. Ares, unprepared for the recoil, stumbled as the energy surged back, blinding him momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, Theros lunged forward, striking at Ares' exposed side. His sword found its mark, piercing through the divine armor. Ares howled, a mix of shock and rage. "You will pay for this insolence." But Theros stood unwavering, the eye glowing brighter than ever. "This is not the end, but a beginning. I fight not only for myself, but for all who have suffered under the weight of tyranny." Ares stumbled back, fury and disbelief etched upon his face. "Your courage is commendable, but you are still a mere mortal. Divinity cannot be challenged." With a surge of determination, Theros pressed forward. "Divinity is a path, not a destination. I will forge my own destiny." He swung his sword again, this time aiming for Ares' spear. The clash echoed through the chamber as the two forces collided, a potent mix of divine fury and mortal tenacity. Sparks flew, illuminating their fierce battle, each strike a testament to Theros' resolve. "I will not let your arrogance extinguish the light of wisdom." Theros shouted, channeling all his energy into one final strike. With a deafening roar, he surged forward, the eye of insight blazing with power. A brilliant light enveloped them both, and in that moment time stood still. Theros saw visions of the future, of battles won through wisdom, of peace overshadowed by tyranny, of mortals rising against the gods only to find their strength in unity. Ares roared in frustration, the force of the blow colliding with his spear, the divine power of the god cracking under the weight of mortal determination. In a blinding flash, Theros felt the energy release, a wave of light surging through the chamber. "By the will of Athena, I claim my fate," he shouted as the light engulfed them both. The chamber trembled violently, and with a final burst of energy, Ares was cast back, his form dissipating into light. Theros staggered, breathless and overwhelmed, the temple echoing with the remnants of their battle. As the dust settled, he fell to his knees, the eye of insight pulsing gently in his grasp, a reminder of the trials endured and the wisdom gained. "I have faced the wrath of a god and emerged stronger," he whispered. "But this journey is far from over." He rose slowly, the energy of the temple shifting around him, revealing a new path. With Ares' defeat, the true heart of Athena's trials lay ahead, a labyrinth of choices, sacrifices, and the very essence of fate itself. "May the wisdom of Athena guide me," Theros murmured, uncertainty melding with resolve. He stepped forward into the next chamber, ready to face whatever awaited him. Little did he know, the choices he would make in the coming trials would not only shape his destiny but ripple through the fabric of the world, challenging the very essence of divinity and mortality. The gods watched, their plans intertwining with his, as the fate of all hung in the balance. And Theros, with the eye of insight, was destined to become the catalyst of change. He walked into the unknown, where honor and tragedy would collide, and the myths of old would be rewritten in the fires of his determination. The saga of Theros, chosen of Athena, had only just begun. Emerging through the archway into the next chamber, Theros felt the palpable shift in the atmosphere, the very air thick with anticipation and mystery. Gone were the visceral echoes of battle. Now, a haunting silence enveloped him, interrupted only by the soft trickle of water cascading from unseen heights. The chamber yawned before him, vast and labyrinthine, illuminated by an eerie luminescence that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly rhythm. He stepped cautiously on the marble floor, the polished surface glimmering like a surface of a tranquil lake. On the walls, intricate murals depicted the gods at play, alongside depictions of mortal heroes who had once walked the same path he now tread. The artistry was mesmerizing, but Theros knew better than to be lulled into complacency. Athena's trials were not merely trials of strength, they were tests of intellect, wisdom, and heart. As he walked deeper into the chamber, the eye of insight grew warm against his chest, sending waves of energy coursing through his body. "What must I face now?" he murmured, his voice echoing softly, lost in the vastness of the space. Just as he uttered those words, the ground trembled, and shadows flickered and twisted in the corners of his vision. Suddenly, the chamber split apart, revealing a colossal serpent, its scales gleaming like emeralds under the faint light. It coiled majestically, watching him with eyes that shimmered with an ancient intelligence. "I am Echidna, the mother of monsters," it hissed, its voice a mixture of seduction and threat. "You seek to claim the power of the eye, yet you have ventured far into the realm of gods and beasts. What will you sacrifice for wisdom?" Echidna's gaze bore into Theros as if peeling back layers of his soul. He felt vulnerable, exposed before a being whose very essence was woven from nightmares. "I sacrifice nothing but fear," he declared, summoning the courage that had driven him this far. "I seek to protect the realm from tyranny, and in that I will find strength." Echidna laughed, a sound that echoed through the chamber like thunder. Brave words for mere mortal, but sacrifice is the currency of wisdom. You must choose wisely, for each choice will reverberate through the ages. With a flick of her tail, Athena summoned a storm of shadowy figures, ghastly phantoms of those who had failed her test in ages past. Their mournful wails filled the chamber, swirling around him like a tempest of despair. Each visage was a reminder of the cost of failure, warriors who had once stood mighty now reduced to wraiths, haunted by their own destinies. Face your fears, Theros. Athena commanded, her voice resonating with power. Only by confronting them can you hope to emerge victorious. Drawing strength from the eye, Theros charged forward, navigating through the apparitions that clawed at him with ethereal fingers. I am not afraid, he shouted, his voice rising above the cacophony. You are but shadows of what I will overcome. As he fought through the phantoms, each one whispered doubts and fears, attempting to erode his resolve. Visions of his past flickered before him, moments of weakness, failures that had nearly broken him. His breath quickened, but he focused on the warmth of the eye, grounding himself in the present. I am defined not by my failures, but by my perseverance, he roared, deflecting the wailing specters with his sword, each strike dissipating them into wisps of smoke. Suddenly, Athena's laughter filled the chamber, triumphant and menacing. You are stronger than I expected, mortal, but every victory has its cost. With a flick of her tail, she summoned her own monstrosity, serpentine beast with fangs like daggers and eyes that glowed with a hunger for flesh. The creatures slithered forth, each more grotesque than the last, their scales shimmering like polished armor. Face my children, Athena commanded. Prove your worth if you wish to claim the eye. With the energy of the temple coursing through him, Theros faced the oncoming horde, heart pounding like a war drum. You will not claim me. I am Theros, chosen of Athena. Drawing upon the wisdom of the eye, he prepared himself, knowing he had to outsmart the beast rather than rely solely on brute strength. As the first beast lunged, he rolled to the side, easing its momentum against it. Your ferocity means nothing without cunning, he shouted, thrusting his blade into the creature's flank, eliciting a howl of rage. The beast collapsed, and Theros pressed forward, dodging the snapping jaws of the second serpent. He danced through the chamber, weaving between the creatures with fluid grace, his movements guided by a mixture of instinct and Athena's teachings. Fight me if you must, but you shall learn that cunning reigns supreme, he taunted, striking with precision, each blow infused with the energy of the eye. One by one, the serpentine beasts fell, their hisses fading into silence. Theros stood amidst the remnants of their once mighty forms, breathing heavily but triumphant. Your children are no match for my resolve, he declared, turning his gaze to Athena, who was now seething with fury. You may have bested my beasts, but you are still at the mercy of my judgment, Theros, she hissed, her eyes narrowing dangerously. The greatest trial lies ahead, for sacrifice is a currency you cannot escape. In that moment, the ground shifted, and a chasm opened at her feet, revealing a swirling abyss of darkness below. Theros felt a pull toward the void, a whisper of dread that beckoned him to surrender. What do you seek? He shouted defiantly, standing his ground. Your hardest desire, mortal. Athena replied, her voice echoing like a siren's song. Would you sacrifice your very essence for ultimate wisdom? Would you forsake your humanity to wield the eye's power and challenge? Theros felt the weight of her words, a temptation that gnawed at the edges of his resolve. No, I will not forsake who I am. Wisdom without honor is nothing but a poison gift, he proclaimed, the power of his conviction igniting the air around him. Then your journey continues, Athena growled, her form shifting with agitation. The chamber around them erupted in a flurry of energy, the walls pulsating with ancient runes that glowed brightly. Pass through this trial, and perhaps you will earn the wisdom you crave. With that, the chamber began to change fully in on itself. The walls twisted, forming a passageway that spiraled upward, leading Theros toward the unknown. May the light guide me, he whispered, stepping forward into the swirling depths. The passage twisted and turned, and Theros felt the insistent pull of destiny urging him onward. As he ascended, fragments of his past flickered through his mind in moments shared with his loved ones, memories that strengthened his resolve. Each step up the spiraling path brought him closer to his purpose, and the eye pulsed with energy, reassuring him of his place in this grand tapestry. At the end of the passage, the chamber opened into a vast arena, the air thick with anticipation. Before him stood the statue of Athena, her fierce gaze burning with a divine light. Surrounding her were ethereal warriors, guardians of wisdom and valor, their expressions a mixture of pride and challenge. Brave mortal, the voice of Athena resonated, echoing with authority. You have triumphed over trials of strength and wisdom, yet the true test lies ahead, a confrontation with your own destiny. Thoros fell to his knees, the weight of her words crashing over him like a tidal wave. I seek to protect my people, goddess. Let me prove my worth. You have chosen courage over fear, honor over betrayal, she replied, her voice imbued with warmth. But true wisdom comes from understanding the consequences of your choices. The arena shimmered, and visions unfolded before him, scenes of battles fought and lost, of lives entwined with decisions made. He saw the faces of those he loved, each moment weighed with the gravity of sacrifice and choice. Tears filled his eyes as he felt the weight of their hopes resting on his shoulders. Each choice carries a cost, Athena continued, the truth resonating deeply within him. Are you prepared to bear that burden, to wield the Eye of Insight? With a surge of determination, Thoros rose, his heart resolute. I am ready to bear the weight of my choices, to wield the wisdom of the Eye not for myself, but for the realm I love. Then face your destiny, she commanded, and the arena erupted with blinding light. A whirlwind of energy swirled around him, lifting him into the air, and he felt the rush of power coursing through his veins. In that moment, the boundaries between past, present, and future blurred, visions intertwining with his essence. Thoros understood the depths of sacrifice, the weight of responsibility, and the beauty of choice. As he landed back in the arena, the warriors stood beside him, their eyes glimmering with approval. Together, we shall forge a new path, Thoros declared, his voice ringing with newfound